This time naman, we will share to you the last part, yung avoiding unnecessary words when writing your essay. So, meron tayong tendency na when we write essay, we want to look really smart. We want to look so much knowledgeable about the topic na gusto natin maglagay ng napakaraming sentence, na maraming words na unnecessary. And sometimes ginagawa natin yun para mag-comply doon sa limit ng requirements for the words. Halimbawa, sabi na magsulat ng 500 words na essay. So ginagawa natin, dagdag tayo ng dagdag ng words, minsan paulit-ulit na lang, nagiging repetitive yung mga words or nasabi mo na nung last na unang paragraph and then naulit mo ulit para lang mapunan yung mga words, ina-avoid natin yon. Or sometimes, pareha naman ng meaning, naglalagay lang tayo ng mga phrase para lang magkaroon ng fillers na tinatawag. So we need to avoid those unnecessary words when writing our essay kasi pinaka-key pa rin in writing an essay is it needs to be short and concise and direct to the point. Okay, so let me share again my screen to you. Pagdating sa omitting words. So here, eliminating words. First one is we need to eliminate words. Eliminate words that explain the obvious or provide excessive details. So when you write your sentences, hindi na natin kailangan pang maglagay ng mga details na alam nating obvious naman or excessive na sa details. For example, sa sentence na to, mahaba siya tingnan kasi marami siyang words na hindi naman kailangan or obvious na. Let's look at this. Yung worthy na example. I received your inquiry that you wrote about tennis rackets yesterday and read it thoroughly. Yes, we do have. So to make it concise and short, you can just simply say, I received your inquiry about tennis rackets yesterday. Yes, we do have. So you don't need to say that you wrote. Of course, someone already wrote it for you. That's why you received the inquiry. So you don't need to write you wrote. You don't need to emphasize that. You just need to go to the point that you received your inquiry about the tennis rackets yesterday. Since you already say it is your inquiry, so it's obviously someone already wrote it for you for the inquiry. So and read it thoroughly. You don't need to say it, read it thoroughly because of course you need to read it since it is an inquiry. Yes, we do have. So avoid those kind of obvious details or provide excessive details that's already baga obvious naman dapat na mangyari at detalye ng yung iyong sentence. And the next example, after booking a ticket to Dallas from a travel agent, I packed my bags and arranged for a taxi to the airport. Once there, I checked in, went through the security, and was ready to board. But problems beyond my control led to a 3-hour delay before takeoff. So there are 47 words in this one paragraph. And to make it concise, you just need to say my flight to Dallas was delayed for 3 hours. You don't need to put it into more a very specific, very detailed series of events that happened since what you need to say is just you delayed for 3 hours unless you are writing a narrative. If it is a narrative, then you need to be specific of what happened before, during, and after of your story. So here, you just need to emphasize that you were delayed for 3 hours, and it is not necessary if you want to make it concise. It's not necessary to go into details of what happened because of the for the delay. And the second one, for us to avoid using unnecessary words, we can eliminate unnecessary determiners and modifiers. So writers sometimes you clog up their prose with one or more extra words or phrases na tingin natin is that seem to determine narrowly or to modify the meaning of a noun, but actually hindi siya nagbibigay ng meaning din sa sentence. Nagiging sobrang complicated lang. Kaya madalas tinatawag siyang filler, pangdagdag lang doon sa mga tingin nating pampaganda or parang dull moments sa sentences. For example, any particular type of dessert is fine with me. Here, mapapansin natin yung particular type, it is not necessary. You can just say, any dessert is fine with me. Any food is fine with me. Any drinks. You don't say any particular type of drink because any by itself, already expresses any o kahit ano na. You can just say any because hindi nagangahulugan na siya na ito'y uri. When you say any, you're talking about a type or kind or uh, what the kung anong klase siya or what class. So it is not necessary to write particular type. Okay? And then ang sumunod, here are a list of some words and phrases that can often be pruned away, pwedeng tanggalin to make your sentences clearer. Ano yung mga words na yon? We usually use these words, kind of, sort of, type of, really, I was really happy. Right? If you say you were really happy, you need to think of a vocabulary word that can replace yung salita ng mga really happy or basically, actually, pag sinabi natin siya na, actually, like this, yung pagsasabi ng actually, nagiging habit na lang natin yon na magsabi ng actually when we introduce a new sentence. But it is not necessary. No, hindi naman siya talaga necessary na sabihin actually, parang it becomes a habit na lang to include actually in the beginning of a sentence. Pero it's not necessary. For example, a type of really basically, sometimes you say, basically, I just need to go to the school and then do comply with my requirements. But you don't need to use basically. Especially yung salitang actually, lalo na tayong mga Filipino, we always say actually, actually, actually. But it's not necessary. Or generally, we can use the word generally if you really want to specify that you are generally speaking about something. Or the words individual, specific, or particular. We need to reconsider these words before putting them in on our essays. And then omit repetitive wordings, yung mga paulit-ulit na salita. So we need to watch for phrases or longer passages that repeat words with similar meanings. Words that don't build on the content of sentences or paragraphs are rarely necessary. Kung hindi naman siya makakatulong sa pagbibuild ng paragraph, kumbaga, kung madaling salita, parang share mo lang ba? Parang ganun. So yung wordy, let's look at the example. I would appreciate it if you would bring to the attention of your drafting officers the administrator's dislike of long sentences and paragraphs and messages to the field and in other items drafted for signature or approval, as well as in all correspondence, reports, and studies. Please encourage your section to keep their sentences short. So that is very wordy. It's 56 words. But what we can do is to eliminate those unnecessary words to make it more concise. So let's look at the concise version. So please encourage your drafting officers to keep sentences and paragraphs in letters, reports, and studies short. Dr. Lomas, the administrator, has mentioned that reports and memos drafted for her approval recently have been wordy and thus time consuming. So instead of using a lot of words and phrases that are not really necessary and that are not useful in building the content ng sentences mo on your essay, we don't need to use them or we can just eliminate them. Another example, the supply manager considered the correcting typewriter an unneeded luxury. So the luxury here is already, pag sinabi nating luxury, it is something that you don't need. Na luho. Ang luho, hindi mo talaga kailangan yan. You just want it. Okay, so what you can do is just remove the word unneeded since luxury is already it already means unneeded stuff or unneeded things. So the more concise version is the supply manager considered the correcting typewriter a luxury. Okay, gets? And the next one, here are the we can omit redundant phrase or pairs of words. So many pairs of words imply each other. Finish implies complete, so the phrase completely finished is redundant in most cases. Di ba madalas natin sila sabi, I'm completely finished. Yung finish kasi, it implies you're complete. So completely finished is actually redundant. So these are the pairs of words that we want to avoid so that we can omit redundant pairs. For example, past memories. Yung memories is already are things that happened in the past. So we don't need to say past memories. Or various differences. Various, it means differences. There are varieties. So differences by itself can mean variety. Each individual. So yung each means individuality. So individual also is, it means you're individual, yung tagi-isa. So each individual is redundant. Basic fundamentals. Basic means fundamentals. Fundamentals is actually basic. Yung true facts, all facts are true, and true means you're saying something that is based on facts. Okay? So that is redundant. Important essentials. So usually we use these words, yung essentials these days, pag we write about mga ayuda and things about the coronavirus. But important essentials, yung essentials is already important. Okay? That's why we don't need to say important essentials. Future plans. So future plans, future, when you say plan, it's something that will happen in the future. So we can avoid these pairs. So terrible tragedy. Tragedy are all terrible. Kaya nga sometimes we say what a tragedy kasi it's terrible. End result. Result happens in the end, so we don't need to say end result. Final outcome. Outcome always is in the final, so we don't need to say final outcome. Free gift. Gift is always free unless you want someone to pay you for the gift. Past history. All history happens in the past, so we don't say past history. Unexpected surprise. Surprise nga eh, but unexpected expected mo. Sudden crisis. Lahat ng crisis sudden, hindi pinagplanuhan. So that or those are redundant pairs. And you can also omit redundant categories. For example, large in size. So each of the following phrases, the general category term can be dropped, leaving just the specific descriptive word. So large in size, oftentimes, of a bright color. Yung large kasi size na yan, oftentimes it already talks about time. So often, of a bright color, of a bright, heavy in weight. You just say heavy. Period in time. Round in shape. Period, just say that period. Kasi yung period is already time eh. Round in shape, shape is already round. So shape, round is a shape. So at an early time. So early, just say early. Economics field. Economics is already a field. Of cheap quality. So cheap is a kind of quality. You should just say of cheap something. Honest in character. So honesty is a character. So honest. Of an uncertain condition. Uncertain. Just say uncertain. In a confused state. Just say state. You don't need to put state. I should say confused. Unusual in nature. So just say unusual. Extreme in degree. Extreme. Of a strange type. Strange. So what you need to do is just omit the general category and just use the more specific descriptive word. So that's all. Those are just tips for you to avoid putting unnecessary words on your essays. So remember this, guys, mas maganda yung maiksi and straight to the point, concise. But if you need to if you are required of putting a lot of words, pwede, let's say mahaba yung essay na pinapasulat, wag natin siyang idadaan lagi sa pagdagdag ng maraming words or descriptive words. Pwede, but make sure that it is not redundant, na hindi siya paulit-ulit sa meaning. Or you can add details, pero yung details na yun, hindi siya katulad ng mga naunang details. So you need to, one tip that that I can give you is to really make an outline. Di ba? I'm sure you have learned in your school na when you write an essay, it's better to put an outline first, yung first outline, second outline, third outline, and then yung main ideas, and then the sub ideas. So that's what you need to do para makita mo what areas na kailangan pang lagyan ng details kung talagang nagre-require ng maraming words yung inyong essay. So practice putting an outline first, and then even when you're in an exam, maybe you can spend a time kasi minsan tumatagal tayo sa pagsulat ng essay kasi we don't actually know what to put in the essay. Parang di natin alam anong ilalagay na mga sentences. So maybe as you write an exam or write an essay, Make an outline first, a quick outline, a rough outline of the contents of your essay. Divide it into three general parts, like your introduction. In your introduction, anong pwede mong ilagay, anong mga points na pwede mong ilagay, and then pag sinabi natin intro, nag-i-intro ka pa lang dyan. So, wag ka munang bumanat ng detalye sa intro. So, pumunta ka sa body mo. Sa body mo, you can talk about 3 points or 4 points na gusto mong sabihin detalye about the introduction related to your main topic. And then, dun sa mga points na yun, sa mga main ideas mo na yun, you can divide it into smaller details so that dun sa mga details na yun, dun ka maglalagay ng mga descriptive words para mas mapahaba mo yung essay mo. But remember this, make sure that those points are unique to each other. Hindi pwedeng yung point 1 mo is parang yung point 2 mo parang point 1 lang din, pero sa point 2 ka mas naglagay ng detalye. So, be careful of that. So, mas magandang may outline ka muna, and then once you have established an outline, then you can start writing. Kasi pag may outline ka na, alam mo na sunod-sunod na isusulat mo and yung details ng pagkakasulat mo. And then make sure you come up with a very good ending or pagtatapos mo sa essay mo. Remember this, when you write an essay, para siyang lipad ng eroplano. When you are taking a plane, the most important parts are these two parts in a plane, in a flight. Una yung taking off, yung pag-take off ng plane is very important, very critical and dangerous pag-akyat ng plane. The pilot needs to fly the plane very well, controlled, nakikita niya lahat, pati yung air, yung speed, everything, lahat ng factors na yon. And the second one is the landing. So kung nasa air na siya, smooth na eh. So you have established your essay, maganda yung body mo, nandoon ka sa ulap, maganda. But the most important as well is your closing. Paano mo ngayon ilaland yung eroplano mo? So landing is very important. So you need to also come up with a very good ending of your essay. So that happens kapag talagang confident ka doon sa body ng essay mo, you will for sure come up with a very good ending as well. Kasi doon mo siya, doon ka, kumbaga nandoon yung recall ng essay mo. Pinakamagandang essay yung mayroong recall. Ibig sabihin, naaalala nila ano yung laman ng essay mo. So yung recall na yun, nandoon yung ano yung gusto mong iwan doon sa mensahe. That's the conclusion. And your conclusion should summarize what's been happening in the body and in the intro, and doon yung pinakalas mong banat na maaalala ng inyong reader. So guys, just keep on practicing, especially sa essay writing. And our leaders, yung mga atit kuya ninyo ay nandito lamang para tulungan kayo, i-assist kayo as much as possible in your essay writing. So just keep on practicing, and then if you have time, please do read books and articles of what's been happening, especially sa mga current events right now. We're not sure about what exam or what's the topic na ibibigay sa inyo sa pagdating sa essay. Pero we are thinking maybe it's something that is current in our situation, relevant to what's happening in the society. So our advice is it's better if you guys are aware of what's happening, read articles related to coronavirus, the pandemic, or what's happening in the universe right now. So keep on reading your books, keep on reading articles on the internet, and store knowledge in your mind. Kasi kapag wala kang alam talaga, and then nagkataon, let's say, current events ang topic ng essay mo, wala ka talagang maisusulat, magagawa-gawa ka na lang ng kwento. And remember this, if it's something that's current events, mas maganda kung ang iyong isusulat sa essay is based on truth and facts, hindi lamang sa naaalala mo or alam mo. Okay? So, maganda pong maghanda po tayo pagdating sa essay by means of reading and just searching, being aware of what's happening sa ating paligid, especially this time of the pandemic. So that's all, guys, for our tips and pointers that we want you guys to take note of and take into consideration as you prepare for your exam. So remember, more than any preparation, please prepare your heart, ask the Lord for guidance and knowledge and wisdom. habang kayo ay naghahanda for your exam. So, that's all. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig and ayun. Thank you so much.